Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to our witnesses for being here today. We do appreciate this. And Mr. Chairman, I thank your staff for the good work that they have done working to facilitate these hearings on holding big tech accountable. We appreciate that. And today's conversation is something that is much needed, and it is long overdue. For too long, we have allowed platforms to promote and glorify dangerous content for its kid and teen users. In the weeks leading up to this hearing, I've heard from parents, from teachers, from mental health professionals who are all wondering the same thing. How long are we going to let this continue? And what will it take for platforms to finally crack down on the viral challenges, the illicit drugs, the eating disorder content, and the child sexual abuse material? We find this on your platforms. And teachers and parents and mental health physicians cannot figure out why you allow this to happen. It seems like every day that I hear stories about kids and teens who are suffering after interacting with TikTok, YouTube, and Snapchat. Kids as young as 9 have died doing viral challenges on TikTok. And we've seen teen girls lured into inappropriate sexual relationships with predators on Snapchat. Your parents, how can you allow this? How can you allow this? I've learned about kids and teens who commit suicide due to bullying that they've suffered on these sites and the platform's refusal to work with law enforcement and families to stop the harassment when asked. If it were your child, what would you do to protect your child? Does it matter to you? My staff has viewed abusive content featuring minors and videos of people slitting their wrist on YouTube. It's there. Yet all the while, kids and teens are flocking to these sites in increasing numbers, and the platforms love it, as they know that youth are a captive audience, one which will continue consuming the content that is fed to them through these algorithms, even if it puts them in danger. They're curious. They get pulled down the rabbit hole. They continue to watch. And these platforms are getting more and more data about our children. But do we know what they're doing with that data? In the case of Facebook, we learned that they're using it to sell their products to younger and younger children, those who cannot legally use their services. But these platforms, you all know you have children on these platforms that are too young to be on these platforms, and you allow it to continue because it's money. It's money in the bank. It is money in your paycheck. And obviously, money trumps everything. And with some of our witnesses today, we have real reason to question how they are collecting and using the data that they get from American children and teens. I've made no secret about my concerns that TikTok, which is owned by Beijing-owned ByteDance, is paving the way for the Chinese government to gain unfettered access to our children and teens. And TikTok, despite vague assurances that they, and I'm quoting, store data outside of China, end quote, has not alleviated my concerns in the slightest. In fact, earlier this year, they changed their privacy policy to allow themselves to collect even more data on Americans. Now they want your face prints and voice prints in addition to your geolocation data and your keystroke patterns and rhythms. They also collect audio that comes from devices connected to your smartphone, like smart speakers. They collect face and body attributes from videos, as well as the objects and the scenery that appear in those videos. This makes sense to some degree to create videos, but given China's propensities to surveil its own citizens, why should we trust that TikTok, through ByteDance, isn't doing the same to us? Most Americans have no idea this is happening. And while they hope on the face of things to reassure us by creating US-based offices for their high-priced lobbyists and marketing personnel, it just is not enough. We see through it all. As we will get into today, TikTok's own privacy policies give them an out to share data with ByteDance and the Chinese Communist Party. Yet most Americans have absolutely no idea that the Chinese Communist Party is getting their information. The time has come where we must focus on what Congress can do to secure American consumers' personal data. As a mother and a grandmother, I know this is doubly important when it comes to our children. As this hearing will show, we can't afford to wait on that, so thank you to the witnesses. We look forward to your cooperation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, Senator Blackburn.